Hey guys, welcome back here to The Fishing Teacher, and appreciate you guys joining me for today's video. And guys, today we're going to be talking about the color red. When you want to use red, when you don't want to use red, when it works the best. There is a big misconception in bass fishing that red is like, you just use it in the springtime of the year. Rayburn red, you guys have been fishing a long time, you've heard of Rayburn red rattle trap. And it's sort of got this notoriety that it works just for a month or two in the springtime of the year. And it does work good that time of year, but there's other conditions that I want to go over that you're missing out if you're not throwing a red crankbait. So we're going to get into that in today's video. Also, guys, before we get started, a quick invitation. Anybody interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, guys? We got jerkbait fishing is on fire around here right now on the lakes I do my lessons on. Just shoot me a private message on my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler. Get you all the details with that. And also, guys, if you're interested in checking out one of my winter Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns, I'll have the link in the description there, along with all the other links I put in there to support the fishing teacher here. So really appreciate that. Okay, guys, red has been a staple, particularly like in lipless crankbaits and crankbaits for many, many years, decades and decades and decades. If you've bass fished very long, you understand that red is a really good color, really in I think like March more than anything else, when those water temperatures are in the 50s. During the pre-spawn time of the year, red is just an excellent color. But here's the thing about it, it's like a lot of bass fishing techniques, they sort of get stereotyped a little bit on when they work and when they don't. And to me, it's like I've had a chance to experiment with red, throughout the year. And here's what I found about it. It's like red will work in every single month of the year. I don't care if the water temperature is 50 degrees or 80 degrees, as long as you have the right set of conditions in terms of water clarity and sunlight conditions and all that type of stuff, everything converging together. Here is when red works the best by far. Now when I'm talking about red, guys, I'm talking about solid red. I'm not talking about a translucent red, because some finishes, like on a wiggle wort or something, you got that translucent, transparent reddish green. I'm talking about just a flat red, almost like you paint it with a paintbrush or something. Here's what you want to look for with that. There is a water clarity window where red works good regardless of the water temperature, and that water clarity window for red is 1 to 2 feet. It's like when you have 1 to 2 foot of visibility, red is going to work in a lot of different situations along with the right type of light intensity. If you have 1 to 2 foot of visibility, and if you have some type of a scenario where you've got medium light penetration, and what I mean by medium light penetration, I'm talking about 50% overcast, where half of the time you got clouds, that are, cover up the sun, and then 50% of the time you got the sun shining. A partly cloudy day with water visibility of 1 to 2 feet, you are going to be in a situation where red works. Another thing with that, as I found with red, is there's two types of cover that you have to fish with red crankbaits to really be effective. In my own personal experience, from what I have used with it, red is not a good color to use around any type of wood. So if I'm fishing around any type of wood, like if I'm cranking along a dock piling or lay down tree or stump in the water or anything like that, for whatever reason, not that good of a color. But when red really works good is any time that you're on rock that is like as big as like a grapefruit or baseball or smaller, or submergent vegetation. So therefore places like riprap bank can be good, even though some of the rock's bigger on there, but just some type of a chunk rock bank or gravelly type bank, rocks that are that big, something like that, water visibility of 1 to 2 feet. Again, water temperatures, it can be about anything, or the same type of visibility over submerged hydrilla or a milfoil, something like that. If you've got hydrilla or milfoil with about that much water visibility, about 2 foot of water visibility, and that grass is growing, 3 to 5 foot, from the surface, that red is going to work almost every time with that. Really, really good color. Now, there is another exception to that. The exception to a situation where the water clarity can be different is on a straight smallmouth lake. If you're fishing clear water smallmouth lakes, like any of the Great Lakes or Champlain or Lake St. Clair or something like that, red is a really good color for those big smallmouth in that really, really clear water on bright days. Bright sunny days, super clear water, something about red that will really get a lot of fish with that. But the main thing is a lot of people, the reason they don't catch them on red is simply because they don't fish red. Bass are very diverse in the colors that they bite. They don't bite lures like real specifically under certain situations. There are some situations where obviously they are a little bit better, but other situations they are very opportunistic. And anytime that you're using something like red, I mean, it's a fairly natural color in nature. It's blood, you know, crawdads have red in it. You know, it's just something that appeals to them. So main thing I want to do in this video, guys, is don't get locked in just to throwing red in the pre-spawn time of the year. Try it in other times of the year. And like with anything else, one thing that's really going to help you is if you have a mixed offering to give the bass. Now here's one situation where I personally have done good on red. Let's say, for example, I'm on some type of a good square bill crankbait bite on a rocky bank, and I'm using my typical blackback chartreuse, you know, sided, square bill, or maybe some type of a shad pattern. If I'm catching some fish on shad pattern or a perch pattern or something like that, I always come in behind it with a red. I mean, just it gives them something different. And red is a really good backup, or what I call a mop-up color. So if you're catching some fish on a different bait, try red. Convert work really good. The only thing that I have not had much success on red is on a jerk bait. And I've talked to some guys that say they rip them on it, but personally, I just haven't had that good of success on it. I've caught a lot of good fish on, you know, reddish chatterbaits, you know, putting some type of red skirts in it. But the main thing, guys, is this, you know, any type of a red crankbait like that, just remember, it's all about that water clarity window and light intensity combined with that. Because when you have the variable, all the different possible variables of light intensity and water clarity, it makes certain colors better to the bass. And a lot of times we don't understand that. We're trying to perceive what we see color as humans, but bass see it differently. We don't really fully understand exactly what they see. But one thing that I do know is if you've got water clarity and light intensity, let's say you got water clarity that's muddy and super bright, or you got very clear and super cloudy, and everything in between there's literally 100 different variables of different type of light intensities and water visibilities together. There are certain colors that get reproducible results in fishing that are they're undeniable. And that is what I found about red, what I just told you guys here. So hope it helps you guys out. We'll talk later.